when you don't have any friends, Christmas shopping goes fast. I know, I heard that.
All right, Tucker, we're all set on YouTube. We're live whenever you want to start.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Minutes to approve.
Tucker?
I was asked, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Can you hear us?
You can.
Chairman Tucker?
Tim?
Can we have a moment of silence for the Pearl Harbor attack?
In committee meeting?
Thank you. Move the minutes.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the minutes? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Appointments. We have 4 appointments, 1 for Park Commission and 3 for Water and Sewer Authority. Is there a motion on all of the appointments?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion on the appointments? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are carried. Thank you. We have no update from Janine. Updates from Weights and Measures. Do we know when that position is going to be functionally filled?
I believe it is filled, Tucker.
Okay, it still says not on the agenda.
Does say vacant.
Oh, okay. No, we won't. Yes, we did.
He's been working.
He's been working, yes. So, yes.
Okay, great.
I guess we'll wait till Waze and then maybe HR can officially announce him. I thought he was announced.
Okay.
Mayor's over.
Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Duckett.
Hi, Tucker. You guys have my report. Doug is also available. I don't have any highlights. If you have any questions for me, though, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Gary? If not, we will move on to Parks and Trails and Doug.
Thank you, Tucker. I hope everybody can hear me. We have a couple resolutions tonight. We'll have one on board from HR Civil Service, one about splitting the department, making the Parks and Trails Department its own separate department, and then establishing the director position as opposed to the current position, which is Park Maintenance Supervisor. Those are the 2 that we have on. Other than that, the notes are still there, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Doug?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Doug, the pavilion renewal of that contract, is this next window, is that the last automatic renewal, or does that continue on after this next period? I'm just wondering when we bid this out again.
Yep, that's a great question. We bid it at the end of 2020. We awarded a contract in May of 21 for the next contract period. So this is a new contract period that includes 22, 23, and ends in the December 31st of 2024. That is the first of a series of contracts that could be renewed 3 additional times for each for 3-year terms, if we choose to do so.
And is that a decision, is that your decision or is that the Parks Commission decision? How does that work?
So the Parks Commission would make a recommendation prior to the end of the term, probably about a year prior to the end of the term, on whether or not we thought we should continue with the current contractor and extend that for the next 3-year period, or come back to the legislature with a suggestion that we go back out to bid.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Doug? If not, let's go ahead and move PW1 for buildings.
Silence is still.
Sir.
Kelly.
PW1 is authorization to enter into assured maintenance agreement with Upstate Temperature Control for the controls of the medicine system that controls the public safety building HVAC.
Was there a motion for that?
I did. I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion on it? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Let's why so I'm confused by the PW 3 and 4 being categorized under legislature.
Tucker, they were drawn up by the county attorney. I'm guessing that's why they're put there.
Okay.
Typically they would be put under county attorney. I'm not certain why it was placed under legislature at this point.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get those out of the way since we were just talking about it. Is there a motion for PW 3? That's establishing the Department of Parks and Trails and establishing a position of Director of Parks and Trails.
I'll move it. This is her.
Is there a second?
Second, right, Kelly.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. PW 4, appointing Parks Director for Cayuga County. Is there a motion?
I'll move it. This is her.
Second, right, Kelly.
Any discussion?
I guess I'll just add, make a comment if that's okay, Tucker.
Yeah.
I think this is a good direction that we're moving in to separate out parks as a separate department. And I think Doug does a great job managing that. We have amazing parks and trail system in this county. So I just wanted to recognize him for his work and his team's work on that. And I'm glad to see this on tonight.
All right. Any other discussion? Not, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Congratulations, Doug.
Thank you very much.
It has to go full board, doesn't it?
I'm anticipating not too many bad things happening between now and then. It is about a week away, though. All right, let's move into highway. Mr. Soper.
You have my report. The only thing I'd like to add is we did the walkthrough today on Ledger Road Bridge. It's open. And we're gonna do the walkthrough tomorrow on Bridge Road Bridge, and that'll be open following the walkthrough if there's not any issues.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Brian?
Chairman,
And
infrastructure that's coming up, do we have any bridges lined up? Maybe we might be able to get some federal funding.
For Bridge New York. There's funding already, but nothing for the federal funding. That has come through the state before we even see it.
I've asked Schumer's office to maybe come and, I think it's a block grant to the state, but it would be nice if we could request a few things of our elected officials. So hopefully we can, next chairman or existing chairwoman can get those things lined up before we leave, maybe.
I have set the stage.
Huh?
I've set the stage.
Thank
I
you.
have one comment question that really doesn't apply to the county highway system, other than the road is in the county. And being that you live up way, Brian, have you gotten nauseous driving down Route 38 where they paved this year?
It makes me nauseous for more than one reason, but yes.
Exactly. The fact that we paid for that awful paving job and that the stripes, it looks like the person that was driving the striping truck was drunk.
Yes. I agree. It's a horrible job. I don't know the state. I asked the state about it. I'm sure there'll be some sort of litigation over the matter.
Yeah, I mean, all the same potholes that they paved over are already coming back through. I mean, nothing even fixed anything. It's not to mention the bump at where they did the rebates. I mean, nothing even leveled out. It's pretty bad.
Well, take a drive down Bonner Bridge Road. It's been since 2018. I've bitched about that, and it's still the same.
Different contractors.
All right, so you've got one resolution, right? PW2.
Go ahead, Vitale. Second it, Mark.
Any discussion on it? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Mr. Soper. Is there any other business for Public Works?
I think this is Mr. Whitman's last committee meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
A 15-minute one. 15-minute one.
You won the prize.
There's second on the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Been a pleasure.
Owen.
See, I think Mr. Pinkney's not in the house tonight, so I'll be chairing Planning and Economic Development. We'll have that in 2 minutes.
Right.
2 minutes in total time.
Chris was online.
He's-
Oh, there he is. There's Chris.
Chris is here, Tim's here, Trish is here. Andy's on, yeah, so you do that. All right. We're all set.
1 second.
You're happy,
Tim.
Sue?
Yeah, I couldn't get it, my Zoom to work down here at all.
So you're here
I'm here.
in person. Love to see you. So I'd like to just start this meeting. Steve, I know that some people have to travel tonight back to homeland up in the North Country. The mayor's here, and there's a couple things that you were going to report on. The Fairhaven and Sterling local waterfront revitalization plan and the let's see, what was the other one? The steering committee for New York Coastal Lakeshore Economic Resilience. You could touch on those first a little.
Sure. You want to get the minutes out of the way?
Yeah, go ahead. Sue, if you want to do the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from November,
Move it.
second. We have a second.
I'll second.
Tim? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll start. Appointments will do. I see we have a PhD. I didn't realize it. Deborah Ross. It's a beautiful thing. Town of Ledger.
Somebody want to bundle those appointments? For any discussion?
I'll make a motion and bundle the appointments for approval.
Do we have a second for the appointments?
Second.
Who's that?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A lot of enthusiasm out here today. There's gonna be a lot of coal delivered to people's houses. Yeah, right.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know whether you're aware of these two projects and how important are they before you take off back with North.
So, well, Steve can speak to them in detail.
Yeah,
Our community's been involved in that LWRP program for well over 12 months now. Should be 18 months maybe, and we still got 6 months to go. Meetings and paperwork on that. Terry Terwilliger runs that program from his office. We've done a number of projects with her up in Fairhaven and Sterling. Pass on, she's been awesome. She's very good with the public and working with the public. These meetings, this program is generally run by the community. She has been able to incorporate getting community members to get involved in a program like this. And the CLEAR program, I'm a little less familiar with, but those are important to have in place because every time we go for funding for a grant, they want to know what your plan is. So, you know, and so forth. And we've not had that up in our district, and particularly for Fairhaven and Sterling. So this is going to be very helpful, very appreciated. The county plan bring that to us. There was some shared services that you had to have a little meat in the game, so it required us to pony up a little bit of money for it too, which is fine. I think in the long run, we're going to benefit from that program.
I know that Steve and I and you were at, when the governor, previous governor was giving out some money, and I know that the Lake Shore hardening, and there's a lot happening up in Sterling.
There is.
Got the nature center coming on board.
And the nature center, I know that I was here a month or so ago, and thank you to the legislators for taking some of the ARP, the ARPA money, easy to say that, to fulfill what was needed to do that project. That project's not only good for the district, that's good for the county. And I want people to remember that. That's it's really a good county project, because people will travel through the county to go. Right now, they got 500,000 visitors a year. It's a crazy number. Now they'll really have something to stop and see. So that will be, I think, money well spent. That will return people better back to the county as a whole. So thank you for doing that.
Well, I'm glad that previous legislatures had the foresight to say that RG&E, that we wanted to buy that acreage from them. We'd still have 1,000 acres that we could do other
I don't know the
projects
specifics, but there's
1,400.
there's some land still up there.
with. Hopefully we can get some economic development.
So the ARPA money, along with the ready money, and Steve unfortunately had to sit silent through a number of those meetings because he's a county employee, but did give me some good advice as mayor to speak up at the state level to get the money for that project. We were gonna, I don't know if anybody knows, every county was gonna be awarded $15 million except Cayuga County. Through some of Steve's help and some other people giving me advice, because I'm not a politician, although I've been accused of it. Went to Albany, and when the governor came to Oswego County to make their announcement, they guaranteed us the 15 million. We were going to be 3 million short, which is basically the 2.7 that ended up going to the Nature Center. And that was so that I would get up and speak at the press conference. Pretty much, right? That was basically hush money, but it worked for us, so I'm okay with that. But yeah.
Well, Mayor, thank you for standing up for your community. I love it.
So, but these programs, I've got to look at the rest of the list here. I saw quite a bit on there, but the LWRP program, which can be done in a lot of communities. I think Owasco Lake did something.
We've done Union Springs.
Union Springs.
And we're doing the Village of Cayuga in Sterling.
Yeah, so those are good programs. Man, we appreciate it.
Well, as I've said, hopefully we got more from our elected officials coming down to us. I know there's a lot of money being printed, but it's coming in the form of a block grant instead of individual projects, but
I heard Eileen say earlier, and this might be off topic, that she has set some groundwork on the funding that's coming to the state. I've done some research, and if we want to get together, of how some of that money is already being divided up. We don't even, our say is minimal on that, but I've reached out to Schumer's office, the Catco's office, Jill DeGrand, she's, where she's at.
she's supposed to be for rural upstate. That's Jill Brand's.
If she walked into this room, I might not recognize her.
Right. She has been.
If Schumer walked into the room, I would recognize her.
He likes scams.
Well, you know what? He came to some hostile crowds up in Fairhaven during the flooding, and I give him that credit.
Yeah, no, he visits every county every year.
So, yeah. But I've reached out to him, so if you have any information, I'd be glad to share with what I have. So,
I
but it
think-
looks like some of that funding's already been
Downstate.
earmarked. Is that the right word?
And yeah,
Earmarked for airports and bridge
of
projects.
course.
And there was some articles in the paper about the tri-county area doing something, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, or Connecticut, one of those two. So it'll be interesting to see. I'd really like to know what is coming in our direction. And I can't seem to get any word out of Edgewater. And I'm sorry.
No, I think that we have
Because
to,
that's going off in a different direction.
no, we have to get the political muscle out there to make sure that we get our fair share of that money.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
You're absolutely correct that there are things that are out of our control, and then there are things that are in our control. Cayuga County is often left forgotten. And I think I've spent the 2 years trying to put Cayuga County at the forefront of people's minds. We need to keep that momentum going. I was speaking to a state lawmaker who's retired, and he said Cayuga County, in his whole entire reign of being a state lawmaker, said you never asked for anything, you didn't do anything. And I've spent the past couple of years trying to push our profile forward, and it's taken a lot of elbows and a lot of muscle. And just what you said, Mr. Lattimore, you gotta muscle your way through because we're a little old Cayuga County, but we're strong and mighty. And we are deserving.
We
Of these
are, and we
things,
need
so,
to.
yep.
And the Ready program was a perfect example.
Exactly.
Why was every county getting 15 million if we were only getting? 12?
I appreciate, personally, I appreciate that your effort with this because
Yeah.
that's what we have to do. We have to stand up and push.
The last time we had a real cardinal, was Jim Walsh, and he brought us the wall at the lake, the pier, and he also brought us the NASA platform at the college. It was Governor Pataki said it was a center of excellence, and for some reason, we should utilize what they gave us. And we should be fighting for more to come to us. So hopefully the next board can maybe get that done. Okay, Steve, you want to go through?
Yeah, I listed the projects that we have open and ongoing, instead of writing a few sentences under each one, just to kind of save it. I'll wait until I see what the committee looks like in 2022 to see if they like this format better than highlighting a few things. But if anybody has any questions on any of these, I'll be happy to answer them. Although, Mr. Chair, I do have 2 resolutions tonight.
But just going back to the funding mechanism, I mean, previous governor used to have the Hunger Games, you know, the fight for the 10 million. I think this federal block grant is similar to the Hunger Games again. Is that your analysis of what's going on?
Well, I certainly think there's going to be a lot of money available, and I think all the departments have projects that are viable. That's the main thing, is have good projects ready. If you don't have good projects ready, it's, even when they're handing out money, you might not get any. So I think we do have projects ready.
We have some shovel-ready sites. Inventory is a little light.
I don't know that we have control over large sites.
Right. Okay. You want to go through those or? not? It is what it is,
I can bring them up now.
please.
Alrighty. Thank you. DL1, unfortunately, last week I had one of our newest planners who presented on the local solid waste management plan here in this office. Jenna Guerrero gave me her resignation last week, gave me 2 weeks notice. I don't think I need to go into the reasons why. It was more lifestyle choices and commute and work flexibility at an alternative offer that county work doesn't provide at this time. She was happy with working with the department and the work she was doing, but those were the reasons why she took another position closer to home. And so that position is already budgeted in the fiscal year 22 budget. Obviously, she's doing the local solid waste management plan, has taken over the recycling programs, the HHW events, the electronics events, and so on, and ran those with us this year. So we need to go out and recruit a replacement. So this is authorization to hire. Authorization to fill form has been approved. It's an entry-level planner position at the CSCA step 1 planner level. That's what the resolution reflects. So I'm asking for your support to give me the authorization to fill this vacancy so I can advertise it, the Upstate APA website, and start interviewing candidates. I'll just note that it fills it as of February 1st. I didn't want to go January 1st because I'm not going to be ready to do anything on January 1st. I'll be lucky if I can do something on February 1st, and it sunsets it at 6 months, I think, which is the preference of the legislature at this point. And if I get close to that point and I don't have somebody, I'll come back to you and say, can I extend this? But hopefully we'll be able to find a good qualified candidate. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Chris,
I'll move it for discussion.
second by Ms. Kerr. Any discussion? Chris, did you want to say something on the motion?
Nope, but if we're ready to roll, I'll call the question.
Okay. Go ahead. Call the question.
Yeah, let's vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second resolution, PL2, is pretty much routine resolution. A couple of years ago, we did a resolution authorizing the planning department to contract with various towns and villages to provide planning services without having to come back to the legislature every time we got a resolution. The details are in the resolution. That resolution, when they made it, I think in 2018, they put a sunset on it at the end of this year. So I'd like to re-up it, and it just streamlines things when we're going to go work for the towns and villages. It authorizes the chair of the legislature to execute the contracts. And as long as I come to the committee, like as soon as that's done, and let them know, like the next meeting, we just signed a contract with so-and-so.
Before you leave tonight, Steve, I see that we're closing and finalizing on the New York State Cleaner, Greener Communities Grant, which was, I think, 250,000.
Yes.
And there was some lighting in that at the jail that was done. And that was through the
Still
window.
being worked on. That's what still needs to be done.
Is that, I mean, the Wendell report that we did went through all the buildings, right?
Yes,
And that was one of the recommendations that they had.
yes.
We found the funding through Capusa for the 250, and they put some of that through.
That's correct. Some of it was bricks and mortar. Yeah.
Okay.
The resolution, though, I just introduced.
Yeah. All those in favor?
We have a motion for the PL2.
I'll move it, Petrus.
Second.
Second, Kurt.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, planning is done. Kelly King there?
Good evening, everybody. I really only have one thing to add to my report tonight that I didn't include in my report is that we've been working with the Department of Labor on our second virtual career fair for the 4-county area. So it's Cayuga, Onondaga, Cortland, and Oswego. The job fair is tomorrow and registration is still open. We have reached out to over 5,000, close to 5,500 job seekers, and that includes people on unemployment and customers that have just registered with us here at the Career Center. We've sent out email blasts and formal invitations to those folks to attend the virtual career fair. As of maybe last week, I would say we had 45 businesses register, and we've been registering them up until we'll actually register them up until today. And today we had a preview day for job seekers to preview all of the employers and the open jobs. This is the second virtual career fair that we've done in conjunction with the Department of Labor. And again, that's going to happen tomorrow. Other than that, the only other thing I have really, if you're looking at my training contracts in my report, we did have a couple additional adults enroll in training, and we have our first 2 youth training contracts. Both youth are enrolled in the welding program at OCM BOCES, so we're pretty excited about that. That's all I have for tonight.
Before you go anywhere, but Keith had his hand raised and I couldn't see it. Keith, did you want to say something in regards to?
Yeah, no, thank you, Tim, but that I'm fine. I was simply, I joined the meeting and I was surprised. Public Works must have gone very, very quickly. So I don't think I missed anything though. So thank you.
You're good?
Yep. I'm good.
I didn't want to overlook you. Kelly, in regards to the nursing shortages, have we got any plans for expanding that program or anything? With BOCES or something?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, they offer the LPN training program one time a year for Cayuga, Onondaga, BOCES, 11-month program. It's always well attended and full. You know, they fill up to capacity. I'm not aware if they're planning to add an additional class or not, but they definitely, it's never been a program that's been hard to fill even before the nursing shortage. So you know, I don't really have the answer to that, but the program that they do run, they only run one class. That's all that they're really able to do at this time, as far as I know. And I can't really speak to the RN program at the college.
In the TRW people, what's their new name? I forget.
BCS.
Yes. Are all those people gone now, or where are they with their closing?
Yep, they're separated. I think there's still some of the workforce there for like a closeout type of, you know, business. But they are done. We're serving them all in terms of job seekers. Not that many have opted to take advantage of their training benefit through Trade Act. Which again, I talked about before, is the $20,000, and it's really a significant amount of money to go back to school. We have a truck driver in right now from BCS that utilize that program, but it's a lifetime training benefit. So we continue to encourage those folks to get trained in a new field and upgrade their skills. But at this point, not many of them have actually taken advantage of the training benefit, but they are all, most of them are separated. Yes.
That's the federal program for retraining?
Correct. Yep.
Thank you. Any questions for Kelly? Yeah, Ms. Kerr.
Thank you. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Trish.
I had heard on the news recently that New York State is lowering the age for the CDL Class A drivers license, and I was wondering if your office was involved at all in that, or what the time frame, if you were aware of how that was going to be rolled out or anything like that. And overseas does the trainings, but I was just wondering if you had any more information on it.
I don't. We were not involved in that, you know, the changing of the age or anything like that. I think that's a good thing because of the shortage of truck drivers. That is one program that, you know, we have consistent interest in, and it's highly successful between both National Tractor Trailer School and Cayuga Onondaga BOCES. We do fund, and both are eligible training providers for us. I think lowering the age is going to help with the crisis and the shortage of Class A drivers, but we were not directly involved in that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Kelly? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
We have CETA reporting.
Good evening. The committee has my report. I really don't have any highlights for this evening, but I will take any questions.
The additional funding that we've requested of the board, is there some project that's going to go towards?
I'm sorry, Tim, the additional funding that was requested by the board?
Yeah, by your board.
Did they I guess I'm a little confused. Was there a recent request from our board?
On your annual budget, I think it went up.
Oh, the request is just our operational budget. I think there was at one point in time of presenting a additional request for strategic initiatives. but I think it's kind of been postponed to approach the committee for next year. And that's really kind of separating the ability to grow CETA as an EDA to start focusing on some of these strategic initiatives around workforce development, our attraction strategy, and entrepreneurial and micro enterprise education. And then kind of blanketed over those three initiatives would be our countywide community, our communications and marketing strategy. But that request has not gone in. It's just, it was an idea.
And also, one of our local manufacturers have been thinking about increasing their scope, doing an addition, but they need some other sewer lines. Have you been in contact with those people in our industrial park?
Yes. Yes. CCIDA is working through the sewer district application and funding, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, we've been working very closely with the tenants within the industrial park and to address the sewer district.
How close are we, or where are you with that new sewer line?
Well, phase one is already complete. CCIDA is kind of moving into phase two. Construction's anticipated to start in spring of 2022. Right now, we are within the application phase for securing the rest of the funding for phase two.
Okay. And I see you got a nice letter from New Course saying what a great job you're doing. And
yeah,
we renewed their industrial. You want to explain that for the?
Sure. So what we've started to do is start to collect some testimonials from existing businesses. I know last month I shared a testimonial from our recent attraction strategy by Terrapin, and this is really kind of highlighting how CETA has been acting as a community intermediary for the businesses within the community. Elmer, the controller from Nucor, had sent this letter, and I thought it would be nice to share along to the committee. We will be highlighting more of these testimonials in our upcoming annual report in the beginning of 2022.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share with the board?
I guess the only thing I would highlight is that as of November, CETA has actually exceeded a lot of the goals and metrics that we have put in place for engaging with existing businesses, working with entrepreneurs, business-to-business referrals, and also responding to attraction proposals. This has been the largest metric number year for CETA as an organization, which is really exciting. And by the end of this year, or by the end of this month, we will have additional numbers to add to our overall 2021 metrics. So that to me is a really exciting goal that we've been able to accomplish as an organization, especially with COVID and everything that we've been businesses have encountered this year.
I suggest to my other colleagues that the Dumont farm is an extraordinary example of modern day farming. You want to bring us up to date with I know that Todd Dumont is an MIT graduate, and those are kind of great brains that are on the land now that are doing good things. Do you want to bring us up to date with Dumont?
Well, I will be meeting with Todd tomorrow at 1:30 to kind of check in on his expansion ideas and whatnot. So at this time, I really don't have an update, but maybe next month I will. You're just a day early.
Well, he's that's a great operation. I was there for the ribbon cutting for the new addition, and just wish, soybeans prices are up. And that's good for farming.
I will say Todd was a critical component to our attraction analysis, and his insight and about Dumont and how he's really has grown his operations. And when it comes to supply chains, he has really has found really creative solutions to help eliminate any disruptions to his production, to the point where he is one of the largest producers of processing soybeans in the state. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Tim. He is really running a great facility out there.
I believe he needed some water. Are we planning any water with our new sewer line that's going to Aurora? Is that helping them?
That sewer line won't be aligned to Dumont, but I will be learning more about that tomorrow when I connect with Todd.
Water line, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Anybody, any other questions for the board? Thank you very much, Danielle.
Thank you.
Okay, we have up next Doug Pierce. Doug, are you out there?
Unless he's the iPhone or that random phone number, which he might be. I don't see his name.
He's not in the house. Can we all have his
Hello.
report?
There he is. He has the phone number.
Yep, probably you just problem getting it off of mute here. Sorry about the delays, everybody.
Not a
But
problem.
good evening.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so you guys got the report. Be glad to answer any questions. We're happy to hear that some of the funding announcements are coming back out. We did receive word from Ag and Markets that the proposal we put in for round 27 got funded to do some cover crops and tidy up some grazing systems. We're still waiting to hear on the WQIP funding projects that we submitted. Hopefully those usually come out right around this time, maybe in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully there'll be some more good news coming. I'm waiting to hear on those. A couple other big projects we're working on, the town of Locke and the flooding on Hemlock Creek. We worked with the town and the DEC and the Corps of Engineers. We think we got all the permits in with the plans of work that we plan to do for emergency purposes, and we're just waiting for, we got authorization from the DEC. We're just waiting to hear back from the Corps of Engineers. So as soon as we hear that, we can start to mobilize and start to maybe do some remediation work down there on Hemlock Creek to help maybe mitigate some of the potential flooding that may come. I don't know, it's going to be in the 50s next week and rain still. So let's hope that, as crazy as it sounds, it turns to snow instead of rain here coming up and some moisture locks in the soil. So, and then finally, tree to tree, we got the holidays coming up. And when people are done with their Christmas tree, we take them at the office and grind them up, and we give a tree seedling coupon out. This year it's going to be white spruce for people to take and plant in its place somewhere in their yard or somewhere else. So we'll gear up after the holidays for that. Technically, it's during work hours. We'll start December 27th through the 29th that week from 8 to 3:30. We'll take them and then really carry that on through during our work days till January 14th. So hopefully, usually we get a couple hundred people a year that take their trees back into us. So that'll be good. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you guys have.
You don't think out of that pot of gold that we had that a big tub grinder would be helpful for the region or all the different towns, do you?
There's a lot going on with a tub grinder and running a program around it. So I mean, it has its busy times and it has its down times too. And it is an expensive piece of equipment to maintain, and when it's needed, it's a great piece to have. But there's a lot of maintenance that goes along with it too.
Okay, and going back to the erosion and the flooding, I know that Mark Strong and myself and we were up on Sam Adams. Any design, if we had engineering, maybe look at that and see how we can slow that water down with maybe some additional Wasco, like we did at in Moravia with the, what is that? Wasco Flats.
Well, we did meet with the landowner and his engineer to talk about potential solutions downstream from that the culvert, and we're just waiting on a design for review from his engineer. So as soon as that comes through, we had a great conversation, talked about some potential solutions, and we're just waiting for some information on it.
Anything else to add to your report?
Nope.
Merry
Not at this
Christmas.
point.
Merry
Hey, thanks.
Christmas.
You guys have a good Christmas.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Keith. May I ask a question?
Sure.
So it's kind of a personal question. Forgive me for taking the body's time. But Doug, I will not have, I think, a Christmas tree to recycle, but I always like to plant seedlings. Will you have extras that I
We
can
may,
pick up and
depends on
plant?
how many people forget to get those coupons and forget that they have them. Think
Yeah.
about it, the tree sale's probably in May, and you got 4 months to hold a little tiny piece of paper. Sometimes people lose them. So I would say reach back out to me in the springtime, and
Oh,
generally
yeah,
we do
no,
have-
I always do that. I'm thinking about the Christmas tree stuff. Do you ever have trees left then? Because they
sometimes we
either
do.
get the seedlings either get planted or they die. That's what I'm thinking.
Correct. And oftentimes we do have some extra ones.
Okay.
Sometimes we plant them in a mulch.
Yeah, I doubt if anyone's interested in this other than I. So I'll reach out to you by email. So
Sounds
thanks.
Doug, the tree farming farmers are getting older and they're not planting because by the next harvest, what's it take to grow a seedling to saleable? 10
Yeah,
years?
it takes a while. Yeah, it depends. I mean, some people like smaller trees these days. Some people like larger ones. So yeah, it varies. Provided the deer don't, eat them, especially in the case of firs, or sometimes they just go and rub them. At least the bucks will and kill them. So yeah, it's a challenging industry, that's for sure.
Anything else to report?
I am all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any? Let's see what else we got. Cornell, yes. Mr. Walsh, Dan, are you out there?
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Apologies that my written report was not included the couple days around the due date that Sheila and Amanda wanted those back. I was working from home, and the email and the internet at home were not talking well to each other. So I'll get that to them shortly. Just a couple of quick updates. In November, I spent a couple days at the Grow New York conference in Syracuse. That's a regional economic competition or business pitch competition for agricultural businesses that want to locate in the central New York, southern tier, or Finger Lakes regions of the economic development councils. A lot of interesting pitches. Tried to let a few of the businesses know that Cayuga County, we've got a lot of cows, crops, and that sort of thing that might be a good place for them to think about locating as they grow their business. We're beginning to, this time of year, we're spend a little bit more time on planning things. So we're beginning to plan the youth fair for next summer with Doug D'Ostrito and the folks from the Ag Museum. And I guess one final update, we recognized Patterson Farms last week that are out in Aurelius as our outstanding volunteers of the year. They were really, all the folks at the farm were helpful in us having a successful youth fair this year. So that's why we decided to recognize them.
And Mr. Patterson is now the president of the Farm Bureau too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yep. It's now the president for the County Farm Bureau.
Good. Anything else?
I guess just one final thing. I know a couple folks have mentioned the weather. It has been a late harvest in some cases. Some farms still have some crops out there. There probably has been a little bit more mud on the road than usual for this time of year, but I think most of the farms are trying to stay on top of that and take care of that, scrape some of it off when they're aware of it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we got one more, one more announcement by Karen. Are you there tonight, Karen?
She couldn't make it.
She didn't make it. So,
She emailed Paul, but I don't think she knew Paul was on.
okay, no tourism report. Is there anything else before the board? Steve, you got anything else?
No adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, I can't do that, sorry.
You're not on the board. How about Trish?
I'll second.
Okay, Chris is seconding and Andy and Trish. Sayonara. Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night.
Thanks, Tim.